This is a quick grammar review for students of English as a second language.
Grammar Topic 8. Correct conditional form. Conditional forms are extremely useful parts of your writing and speaking skill sets. There are four main forms. Form 1. The zero conditional. Use. General facts and things that are always true. Form 2. The first conditional. Use. Real cause and effect relationships. Form 3. The second conditional. Use. Unlikely or impossible cause and effect relationships. Form 4. The third conditional. Use. Past regrets and alternative past results.
Form 1. The zero conditional. Structure 1. If plus present simple plus comma plus present simple. Example 1. If it rains, the air smells fresher. This is something that the speaker wants you to believe is always true. Example 2. If you freeze hot water, it freezes faster than does cold water. Special note, you can replace if with when because this relationship is definite. When you freeze hot water, it freezes faster than does cold water. So those examples had the condition clause at the start. Now let's look at two examples of the zero conditional with the results clause at the start. Structure 2. Present simple plus if plus present simple. Example 3. Tim gives Elizabeth an apple if she asks for a snack. Notice how we do not put a comma between the clauses in this second structure. This is because the first clause is now independent. Example 4. Amelia always feels happy if she watches her favorite cartoon. Once again, you can replace if with when because this relationship is definite. Amelia always feels happy when she watches her favorite cartoon. It's a similar situation to catnip and cats.
Form 2. The first conditional. Structure 1. If plus present simple plus comma, plus will plus infinitive without to. Notice how, as we switch to the first from the zero, the grammar of the structure has become slightly more complicated. Example 5. If the payment arrives tomorrow, we will buy the desk. We are now using will. That makes the situation specific rather than general. In addition, the causality is real. This is why we call it a real condition. We know that if the payment does not arrive, the speaker will not do the buying. Example 6.
If the crypto market enters a bull run, I'll buy my wife a new car.
Lucky lady. Let's hope the speaker is not lying. And let's get rolling, crypto bulls. Structure 2. Will plus, infinitive without to, plus if plus present simple. Example 7. His fiancée will cancel the wedding if she is offered the job in New York. Again, there is no comma between the two clauses in this second structure because we start with an independent clause. In addition, his fiancée is apparently very focused on her career, so much so, according to the speaker, that she will choose career over their marriage. The speaker also believes it is quite likely that the fiancé will get the job offer, otherwise the second conditional would have been used. You will see why soon. Example 8. The stock market will react positively if the unemployment numbers fall. This is a real causal relationship. But we are not using the zero conditional, because we do not know for 100% that stock market will react positively. We just expect it to. Special note. Avoid using if and will in the same clause. This is a very common mistake. For example, if she will leave to New York, her fiancé will not move with her. The will in the first clause is an error and sounds awkward to native speakers of English. If she leaves to New York is the correct structure of the condition clause here.
Form 3. The second conditional. Structure 1. If plus past simple plus comma, plus would, plus infinitive without to. Now we see that, yet again, the structure is step by step more complicated as we go from conditional form 2 to form 3. Remember, from zero conditional through to the third conditional, the grammar structure increases in difficulty, and the likelihood or possibility of the events described in the sentences decreases eventually to naught. We use the first conditional to express an expectation, a belief, or a high probability. However, we use the second conditional to express a low likelihood, a doubt, or even no probability. Therefore, the second conditional is excellent when you want to communicate polite advice and hypothetical situations. Example 9. If you were Mark, would you move to Paris or Amsterdam?
In this sentence, the speaker is asking the second person to imagine being Mark. This is clearly a hypothetical situation as it is impossible to be someone else. Then, the second person is asked to give an answer. The reply would be something like, "Yes, I would," or "No, I wouldn't."
Example 10. If I were one of them, I would hand myself in. This structure is a polite way to communicate advice. We often say, if I were you. For example, if I were you, I would learn at least 2 foreign languages. It is impossible for me to be you. So the second conditional structure works perfectly for this purpose of giving advice.
Just a quick reminder to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Share and like this video if you think it will benefit others. And don't forget, English skills are free skills, so share the love.
Special note. In academic English, always use were in the second conditional if clause, even if was agrees with the subject.
The second conditional. Structure 2. Would plus, infinitive without to, plus if, plus past simple. Again, remember, no comma is used between the results clause and the if clause in this structure. Example 11. The next negotiations would only satisfy both parties if the capex issue were clarified, something impossible in the current economic climate. Notice that there is an additional clause after the conditional sentence. Sometimes you might want to explain why you are using the second conditional instead of the first conditional. I love helping students practice this grammar topic. As you better understand the conditional forms, you will automatically better understand other aspects of sentence structure in English. Example 12. The film would interest me if it weren't about something completely superficial and irrelevant. Form 4. The third conditional. This is the final pure conditional form that we will look at in this lesson. Do you remember the journey from 0 to second? 0. Scientific facts, etc., and things that are always true. First, real cause and effect relationships and expected outcomes. Second, unlikely or impossible cause and effect relationships and hypotheticals. In this final pure conditional form, the focus shifts to past regrets and alternative past results. Let the fun begin. Structure 1. If plus past perfect, plus comma, plus would, plus present perfect. If at this point in the lesson you are feeling lost because of the perfect tenses, perhaps pause and review the present and past perfect tenses in a good grammar book or online resource. Alternatively, just make a note that you need to discuss these tenses with your English teacher, relax, and skip to the next topic in this grammar course. However, if you feel brave enough, let's look at some examples of alternative past situations. Example 13. If the ferry had arrived on time, we would have missed it. What is the context of this sentence? It describes a stage in a story. And the most likely situation? The speaker is saying that they did actually catch the ferry. And how was this possible? Because the ferry was late to the docks. You can therefore infer that the speaker and companions were also late to the docks. The alternative past result. An on-time ferry, plus a long wait for the next one. Example 14. If Elon Musk had given up on his dreams, he would never have inspired so many young inventors. There are quite a few assumptions in this example, but 2 things are sure. According to the speaker, Elon Musk did not give up on his dreams. And Elon Musk did inspire many young inventors. The alternative past result. Elon Musk quit chasing his dreams, plus many young inventors lacked his inspiration. Thank you, Mr. Musk. Structure 2. Would, plus present perfect, plus if, plus past perfect. Example 15. The view from the cabin window would have been nicer if a life raft hadn't been located right outside. Again, no comma is needed this time. And the actual regret described in this past situation? The cause. A life raft was located outside the cabin window. The effect. The view from the cabin window was negatively affected. Never mind. Worse things happen at sea. Example 16. Watt may never have designed a machine to rotate a shaft had water not needed to be pumped out of mines. The world-famous Scottish engineer, physicist, mathematician, inventor, hero and genius, James Watt, did invent the machine. Because water did need to be removed from mine shafts. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Finally, let's look briefly at mixed conditionals. We sometimes need to combine a clause from one conditional form with a clause from a different conditional form. This happens when the condition and result occur in different times aspects. Let's mix it up. Mix 1. A current fact connected to a past action. Example 17. If I were one of them, the police would already have arrested me. Clause 1 is the if clause in the second conditional form. Clause 2 is the results clause in the third conditional form. Let's compare the example with its pure second conditional version. If I were one of them, the police would arrest me. Notice the difference. The pure second conditional form focuses on the future, a hypothetical future. Let's look at clause 1 more closely. If I were one of them, this means that I am not one of them, and that is a present situation. Let's look at clause 2 more closely. The police would arrest me. That is the future form using would. And now back to the original mixed conditional version again. If I were one of them, the police would already have arrested me. The speaker is still saying he or she is not part of the group, but the arresting is in the past context. A third version of the sentence could be entirely in the pure third conditional form. If I had been one of them, the police would already have arrested me. The context shift here is completely away from a hypothetical future and 100% focused on a possible past alternative scenario. I guess time travel is sometimes a bad idea. Go back and repeat that a few times if you are not sure of those differences in meaning. Now let's look at another similar mix of conditional forms. Mix 2. A past alternative connected to a continuing current reality. Example 18. If Sue had studied harder, she would be feeling much more confident for her test tomorrow. Clause 1 is the if clause in the third conditional form. Clause 2 is the results clause in the second conditional form. Let's compare the example with its pure third conditional version. If Sue had studied harder, she would have felt much more confident for her test. Clearly, we can't use the word tomorrow, because the third conditional is a pure past form structure. Let's compare the example with its pure second conditional version. If Sue studied harder, she would be feeling much more confident for her test tomorrow. This is hypothetical. We could even try changing the if clause to a first conditional form. If Sue studies harder, she would be feeling much more confident for her test tomorrow. Alas, unfortunately, that version doesn't work, but let's look now at a mix in which this does work. Clause 1, the if clause in the first conditional form. Clause 2 in the second conditional form. Example 19. If you want your child to get a degree, university fees would need to become affordable to you. Let's compare that with a slightly different version. If you want your child to get a degree, university fees will need to become affordable to you. What's the difference in the meaning of these two sentences? Sentence 2 is a pure first conditional, and the speaker feels confident that university fees will become affordable to the listener. Sentence 1 is a mix of the first and second conditionals, and the speaker does not feel confident that university fees will become affordable to the listener. The best idea is not to mix conditional forms until you have become confident with the 4 standard forms. The structure patterns are clearly identified, and practice will give you the confidence to then look at practice material for mixed forms.